Next, we will hear a greeting from our alumni, Launikos Timikakis Hokodondeles, who is with us from London. And after the speech, we will hear Leevi Haapanen's piece, Everything, performed by students from MUKA, that is the Department of Music Education. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Launikos Hokodondeles. I graduated from the Global Music Department in 2016. First of all, I want to thank Nathan Ricky Thompson and the Dean Emilie Gardberg for inviting me to speak today as an alumnus of the Global Music Department. It is a great honour to be here today, and I'd like to start by saying a bit about my story and with music and Sibelius Academy, then a few things I've come to understand since I graduated. I first started composition in London, but I was quickly dissatisfied by how isolated composing was from the outside world. I thought maybe music isn't for me. So, searching for something different, I came to Finland to do an eräopaskurssi, a one-year vocational course to become a nature and wilderness guide. I discovered a passion for the wilderness that I didn't know I had, and towards the end of the course I was already falling in love with Finland. And that 1 year became 6. Away from the busyness of London and the demands of academia, I rediscovered I still had a passion for music and I wanted to return to it. I had to explore the relationship between wilderness and music. I knew that. I was skeptical about re-entering academia, but then I came across the GLOMAS course, Global Music Masters, which was fairly new and which seemed strangely different to anything else that was on offer. And so I joined Sibelius Academy, which was becoming at the time University of the Arts. Some of the constant principles that I experienced while studying here were openness, acceptance, a curiosity of thinking and of playing, and a genuine care in education really at its best. The course itself changed the way I was thinking about music and made it, for me, a living, breathing thing. An ever-changing process where the people involved in the place in which it takes place are just as important as the notes that we are playing. And in that way, when I said that I wanted to explore the overlaps between music and wilderness in my thesis, it sort of made sense, and I received far more support than I could have ever wished for, both by Nathan Ricky Thompson and my thesis tutor, Heikki Uimonen, to whom I am both very, very grateful. So I graduated in 2016, and since then a lot of things have happened. I co-founded an arts organisation called Antarctica. We produced festivals and residency and published a book. I moved to the UK, where I worked for the Eden Project and working in communities, and I now work for a leading new music charity based in London, delivering artist development programmes. My own artistic practice continues to deepen. I'm currently playing shakuhachi, which is a Japanese bamboo flute, and learning how to make and restore these instruments. I'm composing sometimes, but definitely not as much as I used to. I have 2 children, 2 boys, and they are now my teachers. The lessons are often very repetitive and almost always about patience. Over the years, my relationship to my own artistic practice has ebbed and flowed like the sea or like the seasons. Some periods, I will wake up religiously every Saturday at 4 o'clock in the morning to play with the birds at dawn in spring. Other times, I might not practice for weeks or even months. So if you were hoping for someone to present you a linear journey of progression, climbing the ladder, and international acclaim, then I'm definitely not the best person to talk about these things. I'm only the best person really to talk about my own experiences. And there's a number of seeds I now realise were planted and nourished during those first years here in Helsinki that are still flourishing, sometimes growing in unexpected ways and popping up in my everyday life like weeds or tiny mushrooms popping through concrete. And I think this perhaps could be something I could share with you. The first thing is about listening. It is so easy to think we are good at listening because we are good musicians. We spend so much time working on how we sound, what is our sound like, and improving our sound and technique. But how much work do we put in changing the way we listen? How often do you encounter new ways of listening in other people? A lot of musicians can play well, and I imagine that what might distinguish you from other top players in your area is how good a listener you are. If you want to be listened to, as a person or as a musician, the first thing is to become a really good listener. The second is learning. When studying within an institution, we spend an incredible amount of time in a place which wants us to succeed and supports us in our learning. We receive a lot of feedback on our playing, our practicing, our written work. This is an incredible gift. It is a gift of reflection with other. We are part of this huge community of learning. People who get it. Everyone just gets what we do and what we want to do. Like our instrument or voice or composing, it is also a skill that we need to keep practicing beyond these buildings. We need feedback to grow. Cherish it when you get it, and also trust your inner voice. Be confident and separate actual feedback, which you want to keep, from someone's opinion, which you may acknowledge but also leave at the door. Next is community. Who are your allies? Music is not a sport. It is the opposite of competition. It might seem that there's only a few jobs at the top orchestras, or one teaching position, or only one winner in this competition, and so on, and that may well be true. What are the assumptions behind this way of thinking and this way of living? Like everything existing in capitalism, music becomes commodified, and it receives a price tag. Capitalism thrives on scarcity, but it is really important to remember that what we are doing touches a part of our common humanity that goes far, far back in history, way before capitalism existed. Before all these forces that over the last 12,000 years or so have built up to this system that is currently consuming this planet and threatening life on Earth. Possibly at a time before even language existed. It is such a big part of how this planet lives and breathes and how we as part of nature exist on this planet. It has almost always been something we do together. Music is a communal activity, and it is an activity that can build communities. It can help us listen across borders, across difference, across histories and across geographies. Our generation is facing some enormous challenges we cannot face alone. And this leads me to my final point, the climate emergency. It has been in my mind as I was growing up, hearing about plastics in the oceans and the whales and needing to drive less and so on, and yet so little has changed. And now we are facing climate catastrophe. Not in 10 years, not somewhere far away, but here, now. The wildfires, the crazy weather, the floods and so on. Over the years, I've sometimes felt guilty at busying myself with music when there are such pressing things that we should be doing or could be doing. But what I'm starting to realize now is that the one thing that will catalyze change more than anything else is to extend our compassion and care and to attune ourselves to the more than human. The arts are one of the most ecological activities that as humans we could possibly do. Because by definition, we are creating and participating in activities and objects which we relate to, feel close to, which touch us physically and emotionally. And for a moment, we extend our love, our compassion to something beyond ourselves. We meld with the world around us. The videos of people singing in the balconies in Italy during COVID lockdown, the video of a young girl playing the violin in a bomb shelter in Ukraine, the first recordings of whale song in the 1950s, which sparked the anti-whaling movement. Music making is solidarity with the world, and we need a strong sense of community and harmony and solidarity to find the courage and strength to deal with these enormous challenges that we are facing today, and to be able to imagine a world better than the one that we receive in our hands. And if you hear people telling you, which you might, that you should keep politics out of music, just ask yourself or ask them, who benefits from excluding art from politics? Why is politics so afraid of art? Why is art the first target of a fascist regime, whether the Nazis burning books or the Russian army raiding galleries in Ukraine and destroying musical archives? If art has nothing to do with politics, if art can make no difference in the world, why is politics so afraid of art? We face huge challenges as a generation. It is okay to feel powerless in the face of it all, and it is okay to not know where our place is within this. This unease is a good sign. It means we care, and we're already becoming part of this new world. Now more than ever, I have so much faith in the importance and power of music, its vital role in shaping this new world we want to live in. Not a world of more control, more efficiency and more precision and more exploitation and more dominance and more conflict and more competition. A world full of ambiguity and messiness and collaboration and community and beauty and embrace and compassion. A world full of listening, of colour, of celebrating difference, of of celebrating togetherness, I would like to close this speech with the words of John Cage. He once said, "The world is teeming, anything can happen," to which I would like to add, what will you do? Thank you. I wish you all the best wherever your choices may take you.